Hey, whisper to me. I like the pictures you sent me. I'm going to show them tonight. Remind me. Hi, Helen. Hi, Yvette. Hi, Linda. Scarlet Rain, L. Jackson, Dar's Cabin. Lisa, hi. Hi, Janelle. Oh, yeah. Today was a big day on that trial. And it's just that they're putting a delay in what they're putting up. So I have a lot here, but I don't think I have like the last couple because I haven't seen them up yet. So I'll have to go over those tomorrow. Hi, Linda, Florence, Joe, Denise, Tamlin, Veggie Girl, Carla, Sabrina, Kaza. Hello. Hi, Vala. Hi. Clowns. Hey, Two Scooter. You're here anyway? Yeah, I'm not cool. Sea glass and shells. It's going to be a hard case for the prosecutors. Hey, Alacia. Sad trial. It's cold there, Janelle? Is it already cold there? I was actually half swimming today. Yeah, Veronica, I don't think, it's pretty evident what happened there, It's been evident for like a while. Hey, Crystal. Hey, Jessica. You were just watching the first day? Yeah. You just listened to a podcast? It's humid and hot there in California. Just got out of your ethics and business class? Good for you. Hi, Tammy. So anyway, what I'm going to do is try to treat this a little bit, because I with this case, it seems like I would have done a premiere on this if I could have, but I couldn't have. So I'm going to try to do this like that, and I don't know if I'll have to cut it out and put it up by itself. I don't know. Hey, Sherry.
Yes.
She doesn't answer me when I call her real name. And she answers me for Sherry.
Sorry, I couldn't quite hear you. Could you please repeat what you said?
Top of the mountains. But let me see here. Can you tell her she's fired? Oh. Hey, Siri. You're fired.
That doesn't sound good.
Hey, Sakura. Hi, Real Talk. Hi, Linda. Okay, so let's just get into this, because I think I have to go to bed at kind of a decent hour tonight, because I have to be up at 6. Anyway, so today, let me see here. Everything really started today in this case with Ashley. Now, Ashley. Brooke Skylar. Okay, some of them refer to her as Brooke, some Skylar. So many people were getting confused in the chats on these things. And so I don't know what I'll be referring to her as, Brooke Skylar, Richardson, right, in Ohio. So they had the opening statements, and the first thing that the prosecutor said was, which I wanted to get, hang on 1 second. See, this is why I probably will do. I wanted to get something on this. Hang on. So you can see this. Okay, so he opens up, hold on 1 second. I'm just trying to get this. With this quote that she texted to her mother. I'm literally speechless with how happy I am. My belly is back. OMG. I am never, ever, ever letting it GRT like this again. You're about to see me look freaking better than before. OMG. And that was right after she buried her daughter in the backyard. Let me get this down. Okay. She was sitting there very stoic in court. She actually looked like she was having tics. Or did anybody notice she had, like, I don't know what she had going on. It looked like silent hiccups or something. Very, very strange movements. The prosecutor looks like Rourke from Weld County. I don't know if anybody thinks that or doesn't think that. He looks like Rourke to me. Looks like he could be Rourke's brother. Very, very similar. Very similar. So she was pregnant from a boy that she wanted nothing to do with. The prosecutor goes on. You know, she was with this guy for a couple of weeks, okay? She never followed up with the doctors. She never told anyone she was pregnant. She had no prenatal care. She researched on the internet how to get rid of a baby. She gave birth, not in a hospital. She didn't call 911. She didn't call her family. She killed her infant daughter. She disposed of the evidence, and she buried her in the yard. And then she texted her mom what I just showed you. The literally, I'm speechless by how happy I am, OMG. He shows this along with some photos with a quote and explains that she lived with her parents and her brother Jackson, and that she had big plans to attend the University of Cincinnati, and she had the perfect life. She met Trey Johnson, had sex with him 2 times, one of those times without protection in August of August 2016. She broke up with him. Okay, she blocked him on social media. She never let him know he was the father or anything like that. In January of 2017, she started dating Brandon Saylor, and she wanted to spend the rest of her life with this guy. April of 2017, she told her mother to make an appointment to get birth control pills. So her mother makes this appointment at this OBGYN practice with the doctor that delivered her. She's going there to get birth control pills. 11 days before she gives birth. Okay? She goes in there, doesn't say she's pregnant, goes in there, she's already in her 3rd trimester. Well, they give her a pregnancy test. She's nearly 8 months, she's 9 months. They give her the ultrasound. The heartbeat is strong and healthy, but she told the doctor, I can't have this baby. And I'm going to tell no one. I can't tell anyone about it. He starts giving her suicide warnings and to schedule a follow-up for the next day for a more invasive ultrasound, and she ignored that all. Okay? They had people calling back from the office. She never returned their call. She never told anyone. This Hilltop OBGYN accidentally sends a message to her mother that gave the mother info that she was pregnant. Well, her mother, Kim, prosecution says, is obsessed with Brooke's appearance and her weight. That we'll see it in the text messages. And we see that that's why, this is what the prosecution says, why we see that text message that I just showed you, where she talks about her belly and she's never going to let herself get like that again. Okay? Her mother, Kim, told her her life would be over if she was pregnant. You better not be pregnant. You're not pregnant, are you? Your life would be over. Okay? You will have no future if you're pregnant. Brooke lied. She concealed the pregnancy. Her mother must live in a fantasy world. You can see she's pregnant in the prom dress. I don't know how they're trying to say you can't say she's pregnant in the prom dress. Okay. So prosecution says in the days, the weeks leading up to this birth, she had no plans to care for the child. She didn't research anything about how to care for this child. She didn't research even anything how to give birth to this child. She didn't research adoption. She didn't shop for supplies. She didn't have any plans, okay? But the only thing she did was internet searches how to get rid of a baby. She went to the prom with Brandon, the man she wants to spend the rest of her life with, the boy. She starts getting super bad cramps. So she tells Brandon she's starting her period. The next day, she texts him that these cramps are so bad, she's on the couch with a heating pad. But then she goes on Saturday with Brandon and her parents to a game, okay? And then comes home, goes to her room, and in the middle of the night, she goes into labor, and she doesn't do anything. She doesn't call 911. She doesn't call her parents. She goes into the bathroom where she labors in secret and gives birth to this baby, okay? She makes no noise delivering this baby. And apparently she knows, what to do, how long to wait after the placenta, even though she didn't do any research on it. It's pretty unbelievable that she knew all of that about everything else that has to happen. Okay, she took everything, she said, and disposed of the baby by burying the baby in the backyard, putting a flowering tree or something on top of it, putting some flowers nearby. She climbs into bed and she goes to sleep after she cleans up everything. Well, she gets a text from Brandon, how's she doing? And she says, oh, she feels so much better. She is so much better. And, she's great. She went to the gym the next day and started working out that next day. There's a photo of her at the gym, okay? And let's see if I can get that one for you guys. Hang on. Where she takes a picture the day after giving birth, not even 24 hours after. Oh, here it is. Okay. In the gym, just a few hours after giving birth. And she chronicles her weight loss, okay? Throughout this. She starts spending time with Brandon. She's talking about going to college. Now, on July 12th, she decides, well, she better go back to that doctor. But this time she sees another doctor in the practice, Dr. Boyce, to get this birth control refilled. And Dr. Boyce asked her about the pregnancy, and Brooke broke down and said she had the baby and she buried it in the backyard and she told no one. The doctor wanted to examine her. Brooke refused. On July 14th, Dr. Boyce called the police department. July 14th, detectives interviewed Brooke. There's video and audio of that. And said she had the baby, did not think the baby was alive. Seemed suspicious. She buried her. She researched self-abortion. She admitted researching how to get rid of a baby. They excavated the remains along the tree line in the backyard of the property, right? Forensic anthropologists thought at first the bones were burned. More bones were recovered a couple of days later, and it appeared that she said her daughter was alive for about 5 minutes. She mentioned a gurgle, a cry, the baby's arms moving. She thinks she might have squeezed her too hard, and said she attempted to burn or cremate the baby. She texted Brandon afterwards. She was so scared of losing him. Of course, told him nothing about this that happened. And the skeletal remains showed a full-term baby. Another forensic anthropologist did not see evidence of burning, but it could also mean she did not burn the baby right to the bones. It doesn't necessarily mean she didn't try to burn the baby. Medical examiner said the newborn baby, the cause of death was homicidal violence of an undetermined cause, and Brooke was charged with that. So the prosecution is ending up their opening statement by saying the only person that could have done this is Brooke. She killed the baby because she did not want it. She had no plans or preparation, no intention to do anything else. Okay? She made sure her daughter would not see the light of day. She took the life of her daughter. She buried her and destroyed all the evidence. Okay? And they said she documented her feelings. Literally after that happens, okay? She says, I'm literally speechless with how happy I am. Okay? And that's the end of the opening statement for the prosecution. Then the defense opening says that, hey, you heard a lot of stuff, but we're going to bring it all into context. That prosecution did not put that in context at all. On April 26th, that Brooke went to the first OBGYN appointment in her entire life, okay? In her entire life. And any 18-year-old girl would act like this if she was, it's just crazy. If she was going to kill, she wouldn't even have a reaction. So they said, suicide warnings, it tells every woman that. And he didn't tell her that because of anything, he saw in her. Doctor said it was a normal reaction. You're going to see that. The doctor's going to say this is a normal reaction. And the weight gain stuff on her mother, oh my gosh, they took this totally out of context, they say. She suffered from an eating disorder, okay? She suffered from an eating disorder for years. That's why her mother's concerned about this. Seems like her mother's concerned about her weight and her appearance, not because she, doesn't want her to be ugly or fat. It's about the eating disorder. That's what all that's about. And, that's why the mother's cheering her on and stuff when she's losing weight. Because she has an eating disorder, okay? They went through that ordeal together. And they're going to tell you, the doctors are going to tell you this is how some people deal with a stillbirth, okay? It's not abnormal. And the measuring, they go forever on this measuring tape for the fundal height, okay? That he measured her. You're going to see she only measured 32 weeks. No, this baby was stillborn. There was a problem here, okay? Uterine growth restriction in this IUGR. She was 5 to 7 weeks too small. The cord's compromised. This is a problem. Look at the prom dress. Then they go and take these prom dress photos. Let me see if I can get these here. And they say, oh, look, this is February. And 1 second. And he says that this is in February when she buys the prom dress. And it doesn't have any give to it. And you'll see. Let's see, here we go. Let me make that bigger. Okay, it says on February, here she is. It has no give to it, nothing. It's a corseted dress. And here she is, 11 days before she gives birth. There she is in that dress. See, her mother had no idea. People say they could see that she's pregnant here, but they didn't see her in person, the defense says. And that her weight normally fluctuated, 30 to 40 pounds. And he shows a bunch of photos of her looking heavier at times and very, very thin at times. And says, see, her weight went up and down. She had this eating disorder. It's not unusual for her to go 30, 40 pounds. Just in a couple of few weeks, it can happen, okay? What else did they say? That Dr. Andrews takes her measurements, and he tells her that she's going to deliver within 10 weeks, okay? Which would put her about July 5th, but this birth happened on May 7th. So he's saying, see, something was very, very wrong. Oh, let me shut this. Okay. And she couldn't tell her mother. Mother would have a bad reaction. So she was waiting. It wasn't that she wasn't going to tell her. She knew the mother was going to have a bad reaction. She thought she had 10 weeks. She was going to tell her. And she was going to tell the boyfriend. This is what the defense is saying. But 11 days later, she gives birth. She goes to the prom. She comes home. She's in pretty intense pain. Okay. She gives birth, and then he goes into this big thing about how she didn't want to wake anyone, and she was sitting there half dressed, bleeding. She got a towel. She swaddled her baby, but the baby, nothing. It was stillborn. She named the baby Annabelle, and then she walked outside. She went into the garage. She grabbed a spade shovel, and she did what she, should. Apparently, she covered up the baby. She didn't know any better. And she put flowers around it. And then a potted plant on top in a shallow grave. And she marked it with flowers, and she could see it from her bedroom window. Yeah. So, he's making it seem like, she's really cared for this child. She wanted to be able to see the gravesite from her bedroom window. And then they started interrogating her. And he says, oh my gosh, they interrogated her. And she told them, things, and they wanted their truth, so they kept holding her hand, and this poor naive girl, and she just started using their language. She didn't know that word gurgle. And he says, the baby's not going to make the word to make a sound like a gurgle. It's a nose breather. So why would she say that? She said that because the investigators gave her that. So yeah, she said, okay, yeah, it made a little gurgle. Okay, it moved its hands a little because that's what they wanted to hear. It wasn't true. It wasn't her truth. It was their truth. Okay, they kept telling her, don't worry, it's gonna, don't worry about it. We believe you. It's a stillborn baby. Made her think that she wasn't gonna have any charges. Made her feel comfortable. And it was nothing but, this rush to judgment. And this Dr. Murray, she rushed this forensic anthropologist saying these bones were charred. And then the investigators took off on that one, and they fed her that whole thing. That's the only reason she said I might have went after her with a lighter and tried to cremate her, because they were saying it to her. She wasn't even using that word cremate. Okay, so the defense is just going on. Police give their truth, not Skylar's. She didn't even get a lawyer, okay? Her parents took her down there. She was so cooperative. Everything was fine. There was nothing to hide. She was so utterly confused. She doesn't even understand what a stillbirth is, okay? And they baited her because they kept telling her that the baby's remains were not going to be returned until she confesses, and that her father wants the remains to do a burial. So they said they started doing really, really bad things, telling him that, oh, you don't want all these people sifting around your baby Annabelle and poking at her, okay, which she was just bones at that time. She wasn't even intact when you see the bones, okay? And he said that affected her so much that they told her that that's why she confessed. And notice Skylar and family want Annabelle back. Okay, so the police used that. They knew that they wanted Annabelle back, so they used it, and that's what happened here. Okay, she kept saying, I didn't do it. But they kept saying, we need to know what happens. You want a proper memorial. They kept telling Skylar when she gives them the truth, their truth, she's closer to getting Annabelle back. It continues to help her and get her back to if you continue to help, we'll get her back to your family, to get her a real true burial where she'll be honored. They're holding hands. She thinks they can and will help her. Okay, the fire nonsense, as the defense said. It's easier to say that well, they said, okay, he goes on to say that they tried to say, why don't you just say you cremated her? That's much better than like as if you threw her on a fire and just burned her in a fire. So did you cremate her? And he says they went on and on with this until she finally said that I touched her with a lighter and I tried to cremate her. And then say flames went to her chest before she thought better. But he says that's all lies, okay? They didn't know the doctor was going to change her mind that said this at the time, okay? So that's why they were telling Skylar that. That's why she did that, just to please them, so they'll give the remains back so her family can have this memorial for this baby. Dr. Latham is the state's doctor, he says, a forensic anthropologist, and she says there are no signs of burning in her January 1st letter. They tell her, we think you didn't kill her if there were signs of life. Okay, so believe she had signs of life. You don't think you killed her. So that's why they're saying she just made up those signs of life. Okay, she was alive a little bit is what the defense said that she told them. Okay, and then they go with that gurgle thing that no, it's impossible. Babies don't say that. That was their words. Okay, and so Skylar then says maybe she made a little gurgle. Okay, Skylar's so naive. She never used that word. Stillbirth, you know, she didn't even have to cut the cord, is what they're saying. And what about delivering the placenta? You didn't even hear about that. The detective was surprised. Brooke feels bad. Maybe not cutting the cord caused the baby harm. Okay, they asked her about abortion. She said she did a Google search once, but she did no further research and she never acted on it. So then he said they took the electronics there and everything was taken out of context in the opening statements, everything. Okay? They want you to think she's evil, premeditated this, she had a plan to kill her child. Okay, but her teachers are going to tell you that she was gentle and loving. She can't even hurt an insect, okay? the whole idea, nobody's going to go back to the same OBGYN practice, okay? And she didn't say she didn't want to see Dr. Andrews. This happens that she got Dr. Boyce, okay? And she never refused a pregnancy test. Not at all, okay? Dr. Boyce said the sobbing was genuine, and people outside the room heard sobbing when she was telling Dr. Boyce what happens. That means she really cared, okay? Skylar is surprised when they start talking to her and explain what the placenta was, okay? And tell her that she had to cut the umbilical cord. She didn't even know this, okay? They're saying it broke. They're saying the umbilical cord broke. So then he also said in 6 years of an eating disorder, oh boy, that puts her at high risk for the stillbirth, okay? High risk. Investigators had to go back and get some more remains. And why are they showing pictures of everything spread out when they said that this baby didn't show signs of being burned or had trauma? Their own doctor says it. This is what the defense is saying, okay? They've looked through tens of thousands of text messages, and they only found that one search. Skylar put on a smile. She was happy for the outside world, okay? This case is nothing but a rush to judgment, the defense goes on to say. They based the case on the interrogation before they knew the doctor was wrong, and they did not hit the reset button, but they just kept moving forward, working with that, even though that doctor said the bones weren't, that she changed her mind. So they say keep an open mind, find Skylar not guilty on all counts. Okay, that's the end of the opening statements. And then the first witness, and this is very strange in this case, these witnesses don't want to be videotaped. Okay, so the boyfriend, yes, but then all the people from the OBGYN clinic, whatever practice, don't want to be photographed. And then one of the deputies comes on it. At first she says she doesn't want to be photographed. The judge says something to her, and then when they come back after some pictures, they start showing her. So that was really weird. Okay, first witness is Trey Johnson. This is the father of the baby. Okay, he's not photographed. You see him just from his tie down. How old are you? 21. Okay, what was the relationship you had? We dated for about 1 month in August of 2016. Around the first week, we started hanging out. We went to her mother's house. We went for dinners, ice cream, the movies. Were you sexually active? Yes, 2 times. Did you use protection? Only 1 of those times. Okay. Did she ever tell you about this? No, she never told me. Who broke up? He said she broke up prior to about the 26th when he went back for his freshman year of college, which was around the 26th of August. She broke up with him. And why did she break up with you? What was the reason? Well, she had too many things and that she had to concentrate in her senior year. She blocked him from all forms of social media. Did you wish to be friends with her? He said, well, as much as you can be, but I couldn't because she blocked me from everything. Tell you she's the father? No, not at all. Did detectives come out and require swabs from you? Yes. You gave them? Yes. Let's see. So that he really didn't have, there wasn't really much to say on that one. You're older than her, yes. Stated you could not be the father and said, oh wait, not be the, what did I write there? Oh, we talked to the sheriff, and I think he originally stated he could not be the father, and said, oh, that's what they said. Yes, that's what they said. They said, well, didn't you say in the beginning when you talked to the sheriff that you could not be the father, and said that you did everything but have sex? And he was just like, no, I don't know. Like, all these people had contradicted their first statements like crazy. And no, he said they got it wrong. And then it was no further questions. Okay, then the next witness was Ashley Sparkman. Okay, so she worked at the obstetrics and gynecology office. She was a medical assistant. She did check-ins, weigh-ins, measurements, assisted with exams. Well, do you know the Brooke here? Point her out. Yes, I do. What happened when she came to that April appointment? She said, well, I called her in from the waiting room. Do you know if she was with somebody? She didn't remember if she was with someone, but that Brooke was extremely nervous. She had goosebumps all over herself. Do you think she was more nervous than most? Yes, I do. Okay, she took her weight, 149 pounds, took her blood pressure 112/80. She had all these goosebumps. She was breathing heavy. Okay, she asked her about the menstrual cycle, and she says she has a normal period, and said that, her last one was a couple of weeks ago, and that everything was normal. She told her, never mentioned anything about the possibility she could be pregnant. So this Ashley alerts Dr. Andrew that she's very nervous, okay? So he goes in by himself for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then he came out and he asked her to do a pregnancy test on her urine. Test was positive, and she told Dr. Andrews the result. He went back in the room to talk to her. Then he came out, and he took her down the hall for an ultrasound. When he finished the ultrasound, he said she may be 32 weeks pregnant, and he wanted Ashley to go check on her. She did, and Brooke Skylar, whatever you want to call her, was crying. She offered her water, but Brooke said no. And did you have any further contact on that day? No. But July 12th, when she came back in, and then she came in for birth control. He had written her a script. Then this Ashley said once they confirmed a pregnancy, they called and they rescinded that script. I guess they had called it into a pharmacy. So now on July 12th, she tries to get birth control again. This time she goes to see Dr. Boyce. And Ashley alerted Dr. Boyce to all the facts on this case. So what happened? She checks her in. Her weight is 130 now. And so she lost 19 pounds and her blood pressure was 118/62. Did she appear pregnant? No. How was her demeanor? She said at first she doesn't remember, and then she said not as nervous as the first time. Okay. She confirmed that she was here to get birth control. They asked her if she asked Brooke about the pregnancy. No. Did she tell you or volunteer anything about the pregnancy? No. So she told Dr. Boyce that she's here for a follow-up on birth control. Dr. Boyce went in alone, and they asked this Ashley, did you hear anything? And she said, yes, I heard sobbing. Okay. Did you have any further contact with her? No. Did you have a discussion with Dr. Boyce? And she said, yes. Dr. Boyce told Dr. Andrew and herself and 2 other employees that she buried the baby. Okay. Cross-examination. Just asked this Ashley, did she voluntarily take the test, the pregnancy test? Yes. Skylar thought she had periods. Yes, that's what she said. The birth control script was canceled after a positive test? Okay, and you heard Skylar sobbing through the walls on July 12th? Yes. Okay, no further questions. Dr. Andrew gets on there. He doesn't want to be photographed or videotaped, okay? So they have him give his credentials and then say, how does he know Brooke? Is this the first time? No, I delivered Brooke. I delivered her brother and I cared for her mother, but it's the first time that I saw her in this capacity. She came for birth control. She was placed in the room. Ashley told him why she was there. and that she looked nervous and she was breathing hard. When he went in, he asked her how he could help, and she asked for birth control. They had a discussion about birth control. Then he took her sexual history. He asked her about her menstrual periods, and he also thought that two things did not match to what she told him and what she told Ashley regarding her menstrual periods. She declined the gynecological exam, but he says that's due to the way that he says it. He words it with everyone that, are you prepared to have this exam, pelvic exam? She said, just no, not that, it wasn't so much that she refused it. He was very nervous, stuttering. He didn't seem like a guy. He seemed to me, and I don't know if anybody else, I'm not looking at the chat because otherwise I won't get through this. I'll look at it later. He seemed that he was trying to do, like, he didn't want to go against the family because maybe, I don't know, he liked the family or whatever. He was trying not to do that. Maybe he thought he'd get backlash. I don't know how small the community is or whatever, but he seemed very, very, very nervous and like he wasn't telling the absolute truth, okay? He was very scared about everything he was saying. So then he said, well, you had her take a pregnancy test. Yes. What happened when you told her she was pregnant? She cried. And then what? Then she laid down on the exam table and I checked her abdomen, palpating it. And then they said, and then you measured the fundal height? Yes. So now here's this crazy thing, okay? The fundal height conducted is normally with that tape measure thingy, right? But he says he has no independent memory of using the tape, which is really weird because that's what he does all the time. So they go back to his original detective interview and they said, you said you measured with your hands. You didn't mention a tape. Yes, I know that, but I have a measurement in here. You have a measurement in here and you wouldn't put that down if it was just your hands? No, but you don't remember the fundal tape, do you? No. So this went on and on between both, okay? So he says he did review, what he said to investigators then, and he recorded a specific number, which doesn't make sense had he not used the tape, okay? And that number was 32 centimeters, which is equal to gestational age in weeks. So 32 centimeters, 32 weeks pregnant. And now he messes up here too. When he's first questioned, he says it's a concern if you are 4 centimeters above a gestational age or below it. Later on, he changes it to 2 centimeters, okay? So this is what I mean. He's all over the place. That's something he should know. That's not something he should be messing up. He said he treated 25,000 women and he's delivered, what did he say, 7,000 babies or something? Okay. The prosecution is asking him, what's the amount of error in those fundal measurements? These people, and they're like, I don't know whether they're playing, they don't get the question. So he says, well, there's lots of variables. If it's a large person, it could be off because they have more body fat and, the fundal height. If you have an estimated gestational age, if that fundal height is off, it could indicate that the baby is large, or if it's, if it's off the charts, the head, it could indicate a very large baby. If it's under, then it could indicate that the baby is not growing right. So they had an unknown gestational age for Brooke. And so the prosecution's just by the measurements, you said about 32 weeks. Okay, and then they said, and Skylar said to you, what? I can't have this baby? Yes. She said, I can't have this baby. So he escorted Brooke to the ultrasound room to confirm the pregnancy. And here's when he says something else that's really crazy, okay? They say, why did you bring her to the ultrasound room? Could it be helpful to see the fetus with the heartbeat? Is that why you did it? And he said, well, It can feel like someone's pregnant, but it could be a cyst. They gave her a freaking pregnancy test. Okay? This guy, I'm telling you. So then the prosecution says again, but could be helpful, right? If someone's in denial with this or thinking bad things, to see the fetus with a heartbeat, right? Yes? Yes. Okay. And they said, and this was a brief ultrasound. It was not a diagnostic, right? Well, I did at least one measurement, and it was consistent with 32 weeks gestation. Okay, so, but they said, wait a minute. If you were doing a diagnostic ultrasound, you wouldn't just take one measurement to figure out gestational age, correct? Correct. My intent was to get a more formal ultrasound very soon, take an anatomy of the fetus, the gestational age, check the fluid, the position of the fetus and the placenta. Were you able to get a heart rate? Yes, it was 140. So they said, well, that's good, right? He said it is expected for a healthy baby. But then see, this is what he goes, the heart rate is one of the last things to change if something is wrong. And they asked him, well, did you see if anything was wrong? Did anything jump out to you that was wrong? And he said, no, but I want to add that was not an extensive ultrasound. Well, based on what you saw, the amniotic fluid, anything, did anything stand out to you? No, it didn't. Okay, what was the baby's position? It was head first. So you took one measurement. It was the femur? Yes, but I did not record it, but I think that's what it was. He didn't record it. So they said, you're not claiming your measurements are definitive. And that's true. And they said, what was Skylar's reaction to the ultrasound? And he said she was upset. I don't know if she said anything at that time. Do you recall if she made a statement about college? And she said, I can't have a baby. I'm going to college in September. She became more adamant about not telling anyone. And he felt, yes, he needed to counsel her about that. So he started to explain in the ultrasound room that you're going to have a baby in the next 10 weeks or so. But he told her, just because she's going to have it did not mean that she had to raise the baby. And they said, what do you mean, adoption? No, I didn't mention adoption. I told her, people will line up to raise this baby. Well, what does that mean? They said. Is that a suggestion for adoption? No, not really in his experience. He didn't mention adoption because he really hasn't had a lot of experience with that. What he finds is when this happens that one of the moms steps up and raises it, or maybe someone else in the family. So that's why he told her people were going to line up to raise this baby. And they asked if she had a reaction to that. And he said no audible reaction that he remembers. I don't recall any response. Likely at that point, she was hearing things but not internalizing what was said. And they asked him if he had any other conversations in the ultrasound room. And he said, well, he talked about if she felt like hurting the baby or herself. Now, this is another really wacky thing, okay? Why would you say that? Well, this is a big surprise, but I counsel all women in their third trimester on that. I've never been counseled on, hey, you feel like you're going to kill yourself or your baby? I'm just checking because I say that to everybody in their third trimester. But he said this is not a typical situation, but he does. He talks to every woman about that in their third trimester. And this had to be a surprise, finding out she was this far along. Okay, the vast majority of people come in with a chief complaint or they suspect they might be pregnant. Okay, they asked if she mentioned an abortion or termination. No, she did not, that I recall of. And she went again about the birth control prescription, came up again, and he told her they were beyond birth control at this point. So he said it wasn't your intent to give her birth control pills. But he said, what if she did get the birth control pills? And what if she took those birth control pills from that point until she had the baby? Would that have any negative effects on the baby? And he said not typically. So the ultrasound room discussions, you gave her medical advice. He said, I wanted to see her back in 1 week for prenatal appointments, and I wanted her to get that ultrasound the next day. It's very important. She's in the advanced stages of pregnancy. It's worse. As the pregnancy gets more advanced, it's harder to date the pregnancy. So he wanted to get this done as soon as possible. And he also said there was an issue with her insurance. She had United Healthcare, and she was associated with the Atrium Medical Center. And if they didn't get her into treatment and show that she was already receiving prenatal care, it could be a problem because it wasn't in network. And so, he said we need to start as soon as possible. But he said that the prosecution said, but there was nothing seen on the ultrasound to show the baby was in any type of distress, right? Nothing that he saw. And if you did see something, you would take immediate action that day, right? Yes. So to set up the ultrasound, did she schedule that? No. So what did you do? He requested staff to call her, and that staff was Allison Campbell, to follow up. And she did make efforts, but she was not successful. And then they asked him, did you call her? He said, yes, I did. I wanted to make sure that we did all we could to get her an appointment. Okay? Then he said, this concerns you? Yes, I had a concern, but he never saw her again. Now, July 12th is when she made the other appointment. So they said, did you know about this? Yes. Dr. Boyce told me. What was your reaction? It was a surprise. It was several weeks. And he expected that she must have delivered by then. So he said, well, we'll find out what became of that pregnancy. And did you talk to Dr. Boyce about what happened? Yes. So Dr. Boyce knew? Yes. Did you discuss after with Dr. Boyce, after she saw her? And he said, yes. Okay. And then they started to ask him, how many times did how many times did Brooke Skylar say that she couldn't have the baby? At least once. Okay. Well, how many times did she say that she's not going to tell anyone? At least once. More than once? Could be. 5 times? I don't think so. Okay. See what else. Then they have the cross-examination. Okay, so they start again. Isn't it true that, a teenager learning they're pregnant for the first time, that Skylar's reaction is not outside the realm of normal for that? Isn't it difficult, for someone to accept that? And he said, well, I don't know. It's difficult to say if it's normal but you can't say typical, but it's not outside the realm. And that suicide and stuff, that advice, you give that to every one of your patients, right? Oh yes, every woman in her 3rd trimester. Did you have, and it doesn't mean that you had any belief she would harm her fetus, right? It's just that you give that to everyone. And the only reason you did it on her first appointment is because she was so far along, right? Yeah. Because she was not, it's not the first time as just coming in and learning about your pregnancy. She was already so far along. So it's normal to be nervous for a pelvic exam or refuse one, right? For young women that never have had one, right? Isn't that? Yes, he said that, they might not know. It's kind of invasive. And if they don't know, you could have a long-winded debate about whether the exam should be done. They went on about that. And then again, about the fundal measurements. Okay, how often do you track the fundal height? He says usually we start around 16 weeks. 20 weeks, it's very easy to track. How many babies have you delivered? 6,000 to 7,000. How many women have you treated? 25,000. Standard practice to measure fundal heights. And then, yes, it is. They asked him about some verbiage in the chart. NOB means new OB patient. The sono 1 week. So then they go on to, well, wait a minute. if she gave birth 11 days later, she had to be between 37 and 30. They never said she could have gone into premature labor, right? It's like never a thought for these people. So 37 to 39 weeks, so that would make her much, with a 32, if you bring it back to 35, 37, her measuring at a 32 is way below the, it's much greater than 2 centimeters difference. So that would mean there's that intrauterine growth restriction, right? That's what it would mean, isn't it? And that's a higher risk for a stillborn, isn't it? And what about the anorexia? Okay. Is it an indication? What is that? They asked him a little bit about this IUGR, and it could be that the placenta is not adequately distributing nutrients. The lack of fluid could be in conjunction with it, causing another problem, but it's not the IUGR. It's oligohydramnios or something. One of the last things to change is the heart rate. So having a healthy heart rate, they wanted him to say, it doesn't mean anything. So, and it's very difficult to look from an ultrasound from one day to the other to see if there's any improvement. And then they started talking about cord breaks, that she didn't cut the cord. Is it possible that the cord just breaks on the way out? And he said typically the cord is pretty resilient. It has a structural integrity. It's kind of like a slinky. It's coiled. But if it's a short, flat, skinny cord like a wire, maybe could be broken. I've never heard this in my life. But then they said, well, wait a minute. Isn't bleeding a problem in a pregnancy? And isn't more of a concern in the 3rd trimester than in the 1st? Oh, yeah. And she had to be bleeding because she told you she was having periods, but they couldn't have been her periods, right? No, not that she could have been lying, right? But no. She had to be bleeding, okay? So that puts her at a greater risk for a stillborn, doesn't it? Yeah. And the eating disorders, high risk? Yeah. Okay. And they said, well, you must have dealt with stillborn births. What do you do? How do you handle that? He said, it's different. If we usually know, we have a discussion. If the mother wants to hold the baby, we hand them the baby. But it's not unusual for someone, not to want to talk about it or to, this is going on and on about that. Fundal height tape. Okay, here we go. You said it was just your hand, but would you have put, they just go over this fundal height again and again. Months after you said you used your hands, then you have that figure in there. So could you have just, forgotten? Could you slip your mind? They just wanted to go over the intrauterine growth restriction. They wanted him to convince the jurors that she had that, convince the jurors that she was bleeding, the baby was going to be stillborn, and she didn't do anything to hurt this baby. Okay. Let's see. And what would you do if it's off? Well, we would get a diagnostic ultrasound. Okay. But it's not because you measured incorrectly. It could be because of this intrauterine growth restriction, right? That it's off. Possibly, okay, and then it goes into how many centimeters, the whole thing again. The amniotic fluid is over and over. And then they get Allison Campbell on the stand. Okay, she's the clinical supervisor. You're aware of Brooke. She came in on the April 26th. No, I didn't. Didn't have anything to do with her. I knew about her when Dr. Andrew asked me to reach out to her after that appointment to set up her next appointments, and because she was that out of network, we had to get her established so that she would get, on the plan there. So she tried to call. She said 2 times, and she could not reach her. Did you leave a voicemail? She said no, but I think it was because it was either full or it wasn't set up. Did you ever try to call her parents? No, because she was 18 and she had no medical contact on there that she approved, and you have to follow HIPAA. And that was it pretty much for her. And then cross-examination, he said it's not unusual to follow up when you're unable to leave a voicemail. Yes, okay. Then they get Dr. Boyce on there. And they said when she came in for the birth control in July, were you aware that Brooke Skylar, whatever the heck her name is, saw Dr. Andrew? And what info did you have prior to this appointment? She said Dr. Andrews told her in the conference room that she was pregnant when he last saw her. So they said, what else did he tell you about that? Well, he said she was tearful and she was upset, and she made statements that said that she could not tell her mom, and don't tell her mom. So at the follow-up, you knew this? Yes. So what happened? Well, I went in for the exam, okay, and before I did, Ashley Sparkman, the medical, what the heck was her medical staff or whatever she was, the one that checks her in, told Dr. Boyce she doesn't look pregnant, right? So she said, I went in, Dr. Boyce is saying this now, I have a conversation, I introduce myself, I sit down, I say, what brings you in today? She said, I want to refill my birth control. And then that's when you said the last time you were here, you were pregnant? Yes. And what happened? She starts sobbing. Oh, really? And yes. And she says, I had her alone in my house and I buried her in the backyard. And so they asked Dr. Boyce, what did you think? She said, well, I was in shock. Okay. She said, no one knew. No one heard. No one knows. And so Dr. Boyce says, you mean I'm the first person on the planet that knows this? Yes. And she says, I cleaned up everything. I buried her. Okay. And she said, you went into labor in the middle of the night on May 7th? Yes. And she says, labor is like intense pain. How were you silent? You didn't even know anything about this. How were you so silent? And she didn't really answer. And then they made Dr. Boyce review her statement that she gave to police right after this. She had said that Skylar gave birth in her bedroom. Okay, but she doesn't remember that now. Any details to what was buried? She said no. Okay, did they say that she cut the cord? No. Did she say it wasn't attached? No. Did she say the cord was around her neck? No. Did she let you know others were in the house? Yes. Did she let you know how that was possible that no one heard her? No. She said, there's so many things like the placenta, if it's not completely, released from the body, she'll have hemorrhaging, or she can have an eruption that she could have torn and needed, medical assistance there. She doesn't know how this happened, and she wanted to give her an exam, but Brooke refused, and she said at this point she didn't push it because it was over 6 weeks. The body would have healed itself. There's nothing really she could have done either way. And they said, labor, are women typically silent in labor? No, not at all. She said birth is considered a trauma, especially a first time, the head, shoulders, you have coming out, you've got tears, you don't know what's going on. A young girl so naive like that, delivering it alone, would be scared to death, not knowing what to do. Usually not quiet unless they're very motivated. She did not disclose her pregnancy to anyone or anything that happened. And did you refill her birth control? Yes. And she told her, you need to seek counseling and professional help. That was the advice she gave her. After the visit, did you have any contact? She said, I had a conference with Dr. Andrew and with the legal counsel for the office, and we made a decision to notify the police. Cross-examination of this witness, Dr. Boyce, says it's not uncommon, right, for someone to come into the same practice and see a different doctor. It's not uncommon. No. Well, it could be actually typical that you guys could be seeing the same patient, right? You and Dr. Yes. Okay, it's not that they're trying to say, it wasn't that she was trying to deceive or didn't want to see Dr. Andrew. Did Skylar describe to you that she had a dead baby? Yes. She told you the date it was born. Did you believe her? Yes. Fundal height questions. Okay, so now they start asking her fundal height. If it's smaller, if there's a 2 centimeter or more gap either way, could be a problem. They go into the whole thing and they say, would you write a specific number in a chart if you had not used the tape measure? She says, well, it doesn't matter what I would do. I didn't do this. He did. You know, I can say, no, I would use the tape measure. And okay. Well, then she had an ultrasound, right? And he put it at 32 weeks, Dr. Andrew. Yes. And then 11 days after she was full term, how do they know she was full term? And that would mean a greater than 2 centimeter difference, right? That would make her much, much smaller, right? Then that would be intrauterine growth restriction. The baby's smaller, okay? That means the placenta is not working, right? Right? And then she'd have a higher risk of stillbirth, okay? That would be more likely. And if she had less fluid, okay, that would be something. What about that umbilical cord, okay? And then she was like, not always. It could be, you know, but they just had their own agenda there. And they kept going on with that there was a 4 to 6 inch difference, which means the baby was too small. It was significant. She was going to have a stillborn baby. Didn't she say the baby was white? Okay. Yeah. And the cord wasn't attached. Okay. That's crazy. And she never remembers cutting the cord. Not normal for the placenta to come out just like that right after the baby. And then she said, well, if it's a but it wouldn't if it's stillbirth maybe, right? She said, well, depending if stillbirth was a while ago and the placenta had already detached, and they said, well, what's a while ago? That'd be like earlier the same day or something, okay? And they start talking about the delivery room. What do you normally find in a delivery room? And this is a lot of the stuff is ridiculous. I see the family, I see the patient on a bed. We have the respiratory therapist. We have the other nurses there. You know, do we have a tray full of all syringes and suction and everything? So I don't know, you know, they're trying to say, oh, she did this, you know, in her bathroom. But you were not there for the April 26th appointment, right? No. But Dr. Andrew told you? Yes. So, and then they go again. Do you know if he used the tape or his hands? Again, she doesn't know. And then they are talking about the baby that was buried. Okay. Any info on the placenta when it delivered? No, none. Okay. You only have the info she gave you? Yes. She didn't have to come back, right? No, she didn't have to come back. You don't really know. So you don't really know why. You know, you don't know anything. Why would she come back there if she killed her baby? She's a good girl. Again with the fundal height, back to the fundal height, with his hands in the ultrasound. Okay, this is the redirect. So, let's see if this is, put her well into the 3rd trimester, screening tools, not definitive. So he wanted more information and he couldn't get the other ultrasound from her, but if he used his hands, he could be off, you know. Defense comes back again about the stupid fundal height. Sometimes they want to discuss, sometimes, then he starts talking about, about the stillborns again and saying, is it normal that people don't want to give details, don't want to talk about it. She said sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And then they asked her about this organization, HEAL, for mothers that have lost babies, either they're stillborn or after birth or through miscarriage. And so he was just asking her about reactions and stuff. And when she was crying, she told you that her baby was not alive. Okay? And yes, that's what she told me. Then they get this Deputy McKay on, the one that they didn't show and then showed. She was out of the sheriff's office. She's a member of the crime scene unit. So they start now to ask her about the crime scene. So while they were waiting for the search warrants, they started taping off the property. And they showed some pictures of the property. She said they lived in a regular 2-story home in a regular neighborhood. And then the search warrant was obtained. This Brooke Skylar came out for a little bit while they identified where the area was. How was she? She was upset. Okay, so it had a tree on top in the pot. Yes, they started moving away some of the weeds. They started brushing with this brush, dusting the area, and they saw a bone. Okay, and they showed these pictures of bones. They said, was there an odor? She said, yes, a very, very distinctive odor of decomposition. And then the skull was in several pieces. Okay, the bones did look black and charred. I mean, just as a layperson looking at them, they did. And then they stopped when they saw like the skull in different pieces, and they called the Warren County coroner, Dr. Updegrove. He came in, and then he started taking the bones away in body bags, but then they realized that they still had more. So he came back. He was identifying everything. And then they also took some small garden tools. They took some electronics. They were there for 6 hours. July 24th, they went back again. They had a third search warrant. And the cross-examination, he said, well, the grave site was marked with a flower pot? Yes. Okay. They said, did you know that? Did you get that call? No, but it was relayed to us. And then I think he makes a mistake on his dates too. He says, are you aware of the case on May 7th? And she says, no. He says, how was she? She was cooperative, right? Yes, she was cooperative. And then there were supposed to be other witnesses, but crime and whatever thing didn't have it up yet because they have delays on. So I have to catch up with that. I'm going to come back to the chat. Let's see. I'm trying to catch up. So if she was anorexic, then her cord could have been thin, but why wouldn't the ultrasound show an issue to be immediately addressed? Like pencil, but they still needed to be cut. I've never heard of a cord that just comes apart like that. And the placenta usually takes time after delivery for that to be delivered. Well, she wasn't hypertensive. Her blood pressure was very good. Short cord, long cord, thick. As thin as she is, it would have been almost impossible for her to know, especially. Oh, I think she was totally lying about the period. I'm just catching up on the chat because I wasn't looking while I was going through my notes. Did everybody watch it today? Yeah, I watched it on Law and Crime, but I think they still have to put the last few witnesses up. Did they put them up yet? Yes, it is, Carolyn. And the placenta is a quiet thing. You guys are welcome. Okay, and then, wow, I'm almost going to have to go pretty soon, but I have a, I don't know, I think Sharon's in for a little bit of surprise because apparently Cowgirl shared I don't think she's seen the cat since it's been at the Kitty Palace, and Whisper to me got some pictures maybe from Cowgirl or something, I don't know, of Sharon's cat, and I just wanted to put those up. Hang on one second. Just gonna go back. Get those. I don't know if it's Whisper to me or is it Wildlife. Who sent me them? Let me get them up here. Oh, here are the pictures of Sharon's kitty. Okay. Here we go. She's gotten a little bit bigger, Sharon. She's lost a little bit of the baby cuteness, but I'm sure that you can love her face. Let me see here. Oh, there's another one. She looks like a sweetie. She looks like a sweetie. I don't know why why there's a problem with the dogs at all. But it's all good, right? It's all good, Sharon. It's all good, Sharon. So, the Kitty Palace did a number on her, Sharon. Yeah. Maybe, I don't know, maybe she'll calm down. I don't know. That cat needs love? Sharon will give it love. Sharon will give it love. She will give it love. Oh, I've got something. pineapple. Remember the pineapple and the avocado? The pineapple came. And we are getting our merch. Casbot made some designs. I've been playing around with some things and putting them on things. I have to finish, but I've done that. And Lisa's working on that decoupage design too. So what I think we're going to have just a lot of different logos and stuff, because it's too hard to please everybody. So I'm just going to design a whole bunch of stuff. It's good to have choices, right? Yeah, this little pineapple. You ordered an avocado? They're so cute, aren't they? And you saw what they say about the pineapple, right? Stand tall, wear a crown, be sweet. You want a Ramblers hoodie? Well, I'm getting some things on there. There's some things on there. I just haven't put the link in yet. What else do I have? For what? The shirts with the pineapple? I am. I'm waiting on just to get Lisa, and then we'll have them, because we've got some with a pineapple on there. I'm gonna put a bunch of different options up there. We've got a turtle one that Casbot did too. I did something about Rambler. What else did we do? I've been playing around too. Lisa's going to get that, really trying to get that decoupage one that she did. You already saw it? Had Jessica see it? Now I'm feeling left out again. Thanks, Snapple. Okay, so what else? Tomorrow, it's going to be early for me. Oh, Jess saw the designs? Oh, okay. It's okay. It's okay, Casbot. I'm used to being the last to know around here. Just knows about the cats. Now this, right, Danielle? I know. It's okay. Oh, yeah, the Robert Durst hearing, I know. Zoe is not, Zoe's been hacking like a fool today. I don't know. They're going back tomorrow. Yeah, that's why I'll be up at 6 in the morning. It'll be a rude awakening for all of us. You need to stop talking to people? I don't know. You love the prosecutor on the Durst case. But I made their signs and everything. No, Casbot says you don't have to stop talking to people. That awful 6 a.m. hour. Yeah, it never was 6 a.m. before, Two Scooter. It's because he goes, you sent an email, take a look at the pic. Hang on. When did you send it? There's something really weird with my mail. When did you send it? How long ago? Oh, I've got a question. Is the Bryan clan here? Somebody sent me an email that said Cowgirl didn't remember whose daughter got a job in a stable. She was offering to send boots to her. I believe it was the Bryan clan in Morgan Hill, California. Can I please let Cowgirl know? So Cowgirl and the Bryan clan, are you going to do some boots? Okay, and Mommy, what name am I looking under? Hold on, I'm coming back to the chat. And how long ago was it? Yes, Diane, I would notice. 2 minutes ago? Did you send it to the True Crime chat? Carolyn, check my email. Okay, MLS. Okay. All right, let me check. I don't know what's going on there. Oh, no, now it is. Okay. Here. Carolyn, I was at my grandma's in upstate New York 2 weekends ago and I saw this. I asked her if she watched Mommy Ramblings, LOL. Anyway, her pineapple tree in upstate New York gave me hope on mine down here in New Jersey. Ooh, wow. Very nice. Very nice. What's this cage for? Is that for a plant? Okay, and then Sharon said check my email. I don't have anything, Sharon. Where's Sharon? No, that's not Sharon. That's not Sharon's pineapple. Sharon, what am I checking my email from? Yeah, I've got some up there. I'm working on them. I can show you a little preview, but I'm not done. I have a lot to do. Hold on, I'll show you a little preview, but we're far from done. Let me see, how do I get to the... Come on. All right, hold on. I'm trying to move something over. These are some of the things. Let me see if I can make this bigger. Come on. Casbat designed that one. Let me see. Let me go back to the chat. And that comes in, let's see, I don't know, these are all the different colors. This one, the premium one, for some reason, they give you a limited amount of colors, but I did do it in the non-premium one too. But I have a lot of things that I'm trying out here. See, I'm not at all finished. I've just been playing around with stuff. I have not much of an idea of what I'm doing yet. What are these? Why isn't this showing? Why is that staying shaded? I don't understand why that's staying shaded. Let's see, I have to go through all this stuff. And then they just like add stuff in here, so I don't know. There's a lot of stuff. I really need a lot of work. Why is this one? What is this one? Why is that on the back of that? See, I don't know. I need a lot of help. That shouldn't be like that. That's a mistake. Yeah, I haven't done the coffee mugs. I'm in a mess, but I'll get it done. Shot glasses. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that is a good idea. Donkey shot glasses. That would be good. I don't know if they have shot glasses. It would go on the back, but no, it wasn't a zip-up hoodie. I think there was something else on the front. I don't know what I was doing. I've just been playing around, but I haven't had time. I don't know. Just to show you, I'm working on something, trying to work on something. We'll see. Check email. Sharon sent something. Okay. I'll check the email. Where's Cowgirl? I still haven't gotten the new and improved kitten pictures yet. Let's see. Are you sending it to .org, Sharon? I don't have anything. Is it like a super large file? Nothing. Two pictures. Okay, I'm waiting. Are they of the new kitty that Cowgirl can't send? Where is Cowgirl? Oh my gosh, I have to cut my bangs. They're driving me crazy. I have to color my hair too tomorrow. Oh my gosh. The rules should be not new cat. It's my kitty. My new fake kitty. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see my new kitty. Let's see. Nothing yet. Another cruel joke from Sharon. You're doubtful anyone's getting a kitty? I have a pineapple. Well, they wouldn't let you get my cat, Sharon. Wouldn't that be nice? Why can't we get these as merch? And like the donkey pup, why can't we get someone to do these? They could just put like a little thing on the back of them, or they could carry a little flag or something. Why can't somebody do that? Or I can? What do you mean? How? Embroider on him? I don't know how I embroider on him when he's already stuffed. I used to want an embroidery machine. I used to want one a lot. You would be surprised, the merch. Really? Can you find the pineapple? Pineapple sort of looks like a lamb. I think you need to contact. They made a grumpy cat. Did they? Maybe they can make me a pineapple. Give me 48 hours. Not sure if they do the drop ship. Same place I bought the avocado, yeah. Yeah. I'm going to do a haul of some recent Amazon stuff, Janelle, so I'll put links and everything. Hopefully I can get that done tomorrow. Eva, you did not get any? Let me see if the email is still there. It's not there, Sharon. Carolyn at truecrimechat.org. See if you were sent, Sharon. See if it's sent. Nothing yet, Sharon. I got them on Amazon, Teresa. I'll put links in tomorrow. Where is now what? Looking at my dog. Oh, Pineapple Eddie. You know Ed and Eddie? Bumper stickers. Yeah, those would be good too, right? That's good. We can do a lot of stuff. Lots and lots of stuff. Send in your ideas. If you'd like to design a logo, design a logo. We can put as many logos up there. We just won't have one channel logo. But how could we have one channel logo? We're more than one logo, right? We're just beyond that. We're in 19 different directions. It would be. It's probably goes right as a given that we're going to have 9. Like, what's your logo? I don't know. Which one? What day of the week is it? We like them. What design? Probably just, I don't think we, like, I don't know, so not something overwhelming. Maybe something on his little, maybe they can make him have like a little drop seat, maybe? Like a little drop seat and then like 2 buttons and then it would say Mommy Ramblings or something. I don't know. Oh, yeah, you're just like Cowgirl. I'll resend it tomorrow. Yeah, there really is a kitty. I'm telling you. And a stuffed one? Yeah. What do you mean, like an unstuffed one? Hey, Save Robbie. Like a pineapple one can squeeze. Like a pineapple one can squeeze. Well, look, you can squeeze this one. Look, watch. Squishy. Look. Like this. Oh, like a stress ball? Oh, you mean like a squishy? I guess, but what about a plushie too? I don't know. Okay, I don't know. I just, because like now Sharon's teasing me again. All right, let me see. Maybe I should contact this company. Let me see if they have any contact information. They have a telephone number. I don't know. All right, Sharon, that's insult to injury now. Oh, you did? Okay, I didn't. Let me see if I got something on that. Ariel. If you want, I can just send you. Oh, yeah, wait a minute. Yes, I see it now. Is it Allison? Hold on, let me see. Let me just make sure that's you. Yep, okay. All right, can you let me, I'll do it sometime tomorrow in the next few hours here, because I have to get at least like 3.5 hours of sleep, but then I'll do it. I'll send something through to you. I have to go to bed too, Danielle. Tomorrow's going to be crazy. All right, good night, and Sharon Martin isn't just teasing me, she's teasing all of us. I know, it's not fair. It's not fair. I have to, we should get a t-shirt that says, that was my cat, Sharon. That we should say, that was my cat, Sharon. Or, you got the used cat, Sharon. We can do whatever we want. Send in your ideas. Go ahead, send in your ideas. If you want to make a logo or something, send it on in. Oh, okay. I will, yeah, I'll put it, I'll get to it in a few hours. I'm going to go to sleep, and then I'll get to it in a few hours, and just send me an email if something I forgot. That would be cute. Yeah, it would be. Everybody can make sure. All right. So, good night. Good night to Sharon, too. Anyway. Good night, everybody. Good night to our mods. Good night to Jessica that knows everything. And Casbat, thank you again for the logos. Everyone else, good night. And I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you probably in a few hours. I have a haul video and other things to get up. All right? Everybody take care. Prayers for everybody.